Welcome back to another week, episode 51 of the Offside Show. How is everyone today?
Good.
Good. You probably see we're one man down. I know Danny's on some other extracurricular activities at the moment. But yeah, Tom is filling in with Eliota and Junior. So, as you recall last week, we went, we were away. Yes. So there's a bit to catch up on. I know a lot has happened, obviously, whether that be in the realm of politics or international happenings. But we'll focus on a few today. But before we jump into that, let's shout out Falekava for sponsoring our show.
Yes.
And again, very nice, readily available cocktail. Mm-hmm. But Eli, where can we get the Falekava?
From the Mangarea Town Centre, there's a little Samoan shop there in the corner, right next to McDonald's, or you can go to the Falekava Dojo in Otahu.
Obviously, that's all in Auckland, so for those that are outside of Auckland,
unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky, but feel free to visit the social media links in the description. So we'll provide that, and if they're able to get anything out to you, that'd be awesome. But also, I see that you're wearing a Think Like an Ancestor t-shirt again today.
Yes.
Not a colonizer. Well, Think Like an Ancestor, not a colonizer.
Decolonisepacific.com. There's still time if you're looking for some empowerment, as a gift for Christmas. If you're in Auckland, if you're in the upper part of the North Island, I could probably deliver. But
a personal visit from Eliota himself.
From the kids.
So that's available. The links will be in our description as well. So we'll put them there. Again, different colorways. I believe there's a white one as well, which is quite striking.
There's other merch. There's uncolonizable t-shirts as well. Something empowering for Christmas. That'll elevate and uplift your Christmas spirit even higher.
Fantastic. Well.
Christmas. Yeah. True. The other spirits. Those ones.
I mean, regardless, guys, or however you want to take that, just feel free to visit the links in our description. So we'll pop all of that there for you guys. But for today, let's jump into it.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we've been slow on the sports front. I mean, not too much has been happening. No. So let's head into. I believe Eliota, you shared an article or a notification here. A Hawaiian Airlines employee fired for a traditional Samoan tattoo.
Crazy.
It's we had that whole situation with Air New Zealand and Tamoko and like showing traditional tattoos. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had a look through their policy and things like that, and I know that they rectified that from about the 1st of September 2019.
Right.
So then they can. Their employees can have tamoko or any non-offensive tattoos visible. Right. I mean, we can jump into what non-offensive actually means, but this is that situation again where, employees having these tattoos visible, should they be able to have these tattoos, company policy, and then you've got the cultural intersection there. I mean, what are your initial thoughts on having this in the workplace? Let alone getting fired for it.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy in this day and age. It's Hawaiian Airlines, and Hawaii, one of the top tourist destinations in the world, that's built its tourism industry off of Hawaiian culture or a form of Hawaiian culture. Are we all good? Yeah. And yet you can't have a traditional Pacific tattoo, which is not offensive. It's not, it's something that existed in Hawaii for thousands of years before Hawaiian Airlines. So it's just crazy to me that this shit still exists, that this type of thinking exists. I see a lot of people calling Hawaiian Airlines Haole Airlines. Haole is the, I don't know if it's derogatory, but that's the term they use for white people in Hawaii. So, Hawaii, anything Hawaii, they will use Hawaiian culture hard out. Or Pacific culture, with the flowers and the hula and mahalo and aloha, so it's a big selling point. But then tattoos seems to be where they draw the line.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like when they refer to it as insignia in a way.
Right.
Like, it's like...
It's that old colonial thing where anything Pacific or anything indigenous is evil. It's the devil. That shit got banned, from Hawaii and all around the Pacific because Christians said, oh, that's evil. That's insignia. That's a gang. That's a devil. That's devil worshipping paganism. It's fucking 2024. And they're banning it because obviously it must have some sort of negative connotation in their eyes.
Yeah. And that's the whole, the extra level to that is the attitude towards tattoos in general.
But but it's just them. Like, surely we're over this. And you mentioned that Air New Zealand has this policy in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Because this was an issue before 2019 with Air New Zealand, where workers were getting sacked and getting fired because they had Māori tattoos. And this was a big thing because Air New Zealand logo is a Māori koru pattern. It's a Māori. It's a Māori pattern, but they're banned. They're sacking employees who have Māori tāmoko, and so clearly they have recognized how stupid that is, and that was, and now they've brought in a policy where they accept tāmoko or non-offensive tattoos. Okay, so I think someone needs to fucking send the Air New Zealand policy to the Hawaiian Airlines and to this worker as a precedent. And remember, Air New Zealand is ranked very highly in the world airlines. It is right up there in the top 10, higher than Hawaiian Airlines. So I think it'll be highly persuasive, and it'll be in the best interest of Hawaiian Airlines to see what Air New Zealand have done and see how stupid they were before, and how they have realized, honoring the treaty or just honoring indigenous culture, especially when you're using their logo and their culture to sell your product. Send it over to Hawaiian Airlines, send it over to her, and help them build the case. Because Hawaiian Airlines is they are shit. They're so old school. It's such an old concept to ban indigenous culture, especially when you're profiting from it in the tourism industry. And I think we need to win these battles better. Like, we need to win these because, man, it's so tiring hearing the same shit over and over again. A piece of our culture has been banned. You're not allowed to do this. So obviously that battle was won here in New Zealand. There has to be one internationally. Each area in the Pacific should know about what Air New Zealand has done. So we don't hear in Tahiti that they've banned air hostesses from having, Polynesian tattoos. Like, surely, this can be a global thing and we can fucking move on from it because it's really old.
I guess it's not just limited to tattoos, right? Like, these are also other parts of the culture that maybe, whether that be, like the patterns and things like that. It's just like we only accept certain things and, reject the others, or
harder.
It's always this fight to try and be a bit more progressive,
right?
And so it feels like, or at least it's the same conversation for different aspects of our culture.
Absolutely, different elements.
Because then again, they might go, "Oh, the FA no, we can't have that."
Yes, and you're so right. They accept some things and not other things.
Yeah.
We spoke about that with the Haka, like, oh, you can do a Haka, but not that Haka. Only a Haka that satisfies a colonial appetite. Oh, that's too much, pull it back. And this is the same thing. Like, we want the hula, we want mahalo, we want aloha, we want all of that, but not the tattoos. So, and this is the thing. If you're gonna give colonizers your language, your dance, and all of that, and they don't actually learn the substance behind our cultures, then that's how they're going to treat all the elements, is they're going to be picky with it and only like the ones that fit their little appetite that they want, what they're looking for, because they haven't learned the basis and the foundation and all the principles that created all the elements in the first place. But it's just like the same shit in different elements. You know, we spoke about it in the Haka. You know, and now we're talking about it with tattoos.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing with the idea of the internet and mass communication being able to share these perspectives and stories, these wins.
And win internationally.
Yeah.
And win institutionally. So our kids are not fighting this battle because it's been set in a law or in a rule, in the regulation, in the airline actual policy where, yes, ta'a moko, Pacific tattoos are allowed. So we have to win these battles better. We have to win them internationally. We have to win them institutionally. And yeah, like you said, use media. Like, our kids shouldn't have to go through and waste their time again. We shouldn't have to see our next generation go through what she's going through right now. She's crying. She's upset, as she should be. You know, and we should be giving the weapons and the words on how to counter this old colonial thinking. And it's old because they did it with all of our culture. They banned everything. And there's still remnants of these fucking colonizers, and their attitude is to ban because it's negative. It's a negative. We have to keep on pushing until the default is a positive.
Yeah.
So you look at a Pacific tattoo and just go, wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. Not, what's that? You know, right now the default is still there.
Like when that initial conversation on the surface level changes, that's when you know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just crazy, you know.
Well, I mean,
it's still there, but it's another battle that has to be fought. It has to be won, but you know, you got to make it a company policy, so it's institutionalized in the industry,
and I guess
passed on.
Like, I guess from a law perspective, I'm not too sure what can be done for you know, like employment law and things like that in the States, but you know, obviously what you've indicated is that you know, the airlines kind of need to review their policy basically.
Well, there's heaps. There's human rights issues. There's indigenous issues. It's an indigenous tattoo. It's an indigenous to the Pacific tattoo. There's precedents in the airline policy of Air New Zealand,
right,
who have changed. You know, so there's right there. You can see they've set a industry standard. Air New Zealand has set a standard,
yeah,
and I think that needs to be communicated because it's ridiculous. And you can see why they would do it. You can see the rights of the indigenous people in the Pacific. All of that woke shit is cool at the moment. Hawaiian Airlines just got to get on board. They're the ones who need to grow up.
Understandable. Well, you know, all the best to Tracy. In this instance, you know, I'm hoping that you get all the help and support.
Yeah.
To get you through this tough time.
Stay strong.
Because you know, it is, again, anything with tattoos. You know, it's quite emotional as well. Cultural significance.
Use that emotion to drive your logic, drive your passion. Fight it. Keep fighting. Always swing. Shoot.
I mean, I guess on the lines of tattoos. I mean, you know, we've got the Malu talk again.
Woo! That train's never late.
Another week.
Because, you see, we're not winning these battles decisively, so we always got to talk about them.
I mean, like you said, there's precedents that needs to be set in stone, right?
Yes.
So then these conversations we kind of be like, oh, did we already talk about that?
Yeah.
Yep, cool. Do we have a ruling? Yes, let's move on.
Right.
But yeah, another week, another Malu discussion.
Right. At least it shows that, you know, people hold the Malu very, very highly. It's a very important tattoo in the Samoan culture. So which is why people get pressed. Yeah. People are pressed when yeah. So this one is about what?
Wha'awhawhinga.
Wha'awhawhinga, yeah. Wha'awhawhinga.
Yeah, wha'awhawhinga. Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, should they be able to get the Malu?
Why not? Like, I'm asking, why not?
This girl who's a PhD studying in Australia.
Yes.
Came out and said, why not? Why not? I know wha'awhawhinga who already have it. And then the Samoan Wha'awhawhinga Wha'awhatama Association, led by Alex Sua, who is a very prominent lawyer in Samoa, very prominent, one of the leading lawyers in Samoa, I'd say, come out and go, shut up, and say no. The Malu is for Samoan women, those who are born as women, and wha'awhawhinga are born as men, and they accept that in Samoa, and so the Malu is not for them, which is what he says as is he president or Yeah, could be president of the FFA. Yeah. I just see it fascinating, that, you know, this overseas PhD gets fucking clamped. Gets clamped by the local non-PhD. You know what I mean? So
it's interesting because it's good and bad. I say good because it's constantly testing, like as in, you know, the nudging and pushing is just like they inadvertently. I don't know whether they consciously do this or not, but you know, when you do go through these education systems, right, you obviously you adopt their framework and the way of thinking,
right?
And if the way of thinking is to think a certain way, you naturally, like your line of questioning naturally feels like you're attacking or trying to. Do I want to say recolonize?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the question is there. Why not? Remember,
yes.
That to me that was a highlight, because that question, why not? It's going, well, why can't they get it? It's also questioning everything, but it's also why are you questioning it when, you know, it's been held sacredly for the last centuries.
Yeah, I think that's why.
I want to say centuries or hundreds of years.
Thousands of years.
However long.
The Malu, remember the oldest, like you brought up, the oldest tattoo kit is 2,700 years old. Like, you know, the Malu and the Pea, that's thousands of years we're talking about. It's ancient.
I mean, I know that these questions are a way of, you know, testing whether we're going to protect or the level of protection or a level of how sacred we hold these things. Right. So I think in a way it's good.
Yeah, but
it's also on the other side. It's like, okay, we've got these, you know, to hear a line drawing in the sand is also good as well. Like, as in, no,
I don't think she was trying to nudge a line being drawn in the sand, though. You know, like, I think that's why a lot of people got upset was her why not. It just sounded like, especially when she went, I know Whawhawhinga who have it. You know, it's
sounding so flippant and so.
Yeah, it was like, there was no why not. It was, and if you watch the whole podcast, she's for anyone getting it. You know, she's actually for people to have the choice to have the Pea or the Malu as well. But she wants Pacific tattoos to be shared for everybody. Yeah, and she supports Palangi getting it as well. So her why not is more like there's nothing special or exclusive about it. And I think that's what it sort of came across, is that it was a who gives a fuck. Just give it to everybody. That's what it sounded like. You know, there was no standard attached to it. There was no value. Share it. Who cares? Why not? You know, so especially the PhDs are known to be these fucking parrots of woke Western colonial bullshit at the moment. You know, pushing all agendas. And the way she came across with her PhD, it sounded like that again. You know, oh, why not? So long as you identify as a woman, then yeah, you're allowed it. It sounded like that, you know. And the Whawhawhinga Association constantly have pushed back against that bullshit, you know, because they're trying to use Whawhawhinga as a vehicle for the transgender thing.
Like a Trojan horse.
Oh, bro, they're trying to latch onto the Whawhawhinga as the third gender, you see? Because they tried it with the, what do you call it, when they brought the transgender athlete, Laurel Hubbard, to Samoa when she won the gold, and the president of the Whawhawhinga Association at the time also said that's bullshit. She's not a woman. She wasn't born a woman. So this is the Whawhawhinga Association, again, against the transgender, saying, no, you're men. You were born men. You should not be in women's sport. This is the same again, where overseas, woke, PhD, oh, why not? Why not? Whawhawhinga can go and get a Malu. Whawhawhinga Association again come out and go, no, you can't. No, you shouldn't. We are born men. We are not women. And so the Whawhawhinga Association is constantly pushing back against this woke agenda that keeps coming. And And like you said, it is sort of a good thing where you get some foreigner from the diaspora with all your woke shit, and then someone, local Samoans, a local whakawhenua just going and squashing it. Because there's a precedent set now, you know, with this being public, this being vocal, and with the Whakawhenua Association coming out and responding straight to that. And they use some harsh words too. They're like, oh, this is your typical overseas. This is the overseas people who know nothing of the sacredness and the value of our Whaasamoa and of our Malu. You know, they're saying that in these interviews, you know, and then they expect local Samoans, don't listen to that shit. We are, I don't want to use the word gatekeepers, but we are the ones who must care for the sacredness of the Malu.
Well, that's why that's you know, in a sense, the way that I look at just the general culture and overall. As in, yeah, like you've got the diaspora living overseas, and they have, you know, hybrid versions of what the culture coming from the islands is. But as long as the culture in the islands remains as is and governed by those that are in the islands, and I know that there are a lot of influences that they're fighting at the moment, like especially with access to media and things like that. But this is what I mean by, you know, having the authority set in the motherland, like as in protect the motherland first, and the rest will follow. Because we can't just have, like, yeah, it's nice to have these ideas from overseas, but it's nice to have someone local come out and say, no, this is not us. And then you know, you know, you need to take a step back and go, okay, do my values align with theirs or not? And then, you know, that's a conversation you have with yourself in the mirror. And it's great because then it, you know, it develops that. And then for those in the academic space, it's like, okay, trying to reconcile two different sets of framework, and then, you know, that's where the, you know, the identity crisis comes in, because it's like, man, I got taught this way. This is contrary to what, you know, to what that value means in this framework, and it's the odd cycle. But I do the other thing I do wonder about is the tufunga in all of this, because, you know, there's other pieces of the puzzle as well that help to, I guess, protect authority, and I think the tufunga is one of them. You know, am I going to tattoo this person? In other words, and, you know, and also the authority that they hold. So it'd be interesting to see those conversations happen as well, and how they uphold, because every one of them has a duty to either protect the authority, I imagine, in a sense, because you're carrying a lot of value that means so much to everyone, or at least of that culture. So I don't know whether the PhDs and things like that, of the academic world, are going to jump into that, or maybe I imagine they've probably already considered it, but it just seems like a few more factors to consider than just, you know.
I think it's just a lack of belief, you know, for academia to bring their what it could, not really so much of an issue, but more like, oh, why not, you know? With that kind of attitude that's been brought onto the table, it tells me the lack of humbleness and also the lack of respect in terms of that particular sacred spaces. So if a malu is given for the Samoan woman or any woman, it should remain in that sacred space. I mean, it's not about gatekeeping, but it's all about the actual belief that's been imposed for thousands and thousands of years. Same with the Tongan woman. They have their own tattoo. Everyone has every woman in the Pacific has this particular tattoo, and it's connected to the identity. So if someone says, why not? It devalues everything. And what I mean by culture, what's it mean? You know, water it down, okay. You know, but yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
you're right, and yeah, that's what the why not came across. Like it sounded like disingenuous. It sounded disrespectful, because the simple why not reply would be, well, they're not women. But you can tell to her, she's already dismissed that because in that podcast she refers to women as incubators. You know how they're saying, like, what is that? What's the term for mothers? That the woke term is like bodies with a uterus or something. You're right. It's something like that. So she referred to women as incubators, which is really dismissive of women. So if her why not also meant, like, why not? It's just women, if they identify as a woman, it sounded completely dismissive of women. Like anyone could be a woman if you just identify as one.
Yeah, like you mentioned about the level of testosterone and, like for the Olympics, be like, there's what we need to qualify as women.
No, the PhDs and the woke people, it's just, if you identify as one, if you feel like it, then that's it.
Yeah, that's why she's got power.
Yeah.
Because she's in the academia.
Yeah, in academia, peer-reviewed by Balangis, right? And everything's got to be validated by them, you know what I mean? And so, why not? That also means, I don't know, I need to learn some more, Why not? Give me some reason why not.
So, I mean, just to maybe flip things a bit here, how would you take that why not as a positive?
A positive. I think the positive was, like you said, sometimes it's good you have these people stabbing because it eventually wakes up a fucking dragon and then gets squashed. And I think that's what the Whawhawhinga Association did. They came out, they're the Whawhawhinga Association of Samoa. Who is going to tell them that they have no right to say shit about Samoan culture and Samoa Whawhawhinga? That's the Whawhawhinga Association, Whawhatama Association in Samoa, bro. And that's what she did. She woke up the big dogs. Okay, they don't have any woke PhDs, but they have the culture. They're living in the culture. They're living as Whawhawhinga in Samoa. That's the highest authority to me. And what they've said, that completely squashed everything that she's trying to push. Now, for her, why not needs to be, okay, that's why. She needs to go learn why. She needs to complete her PhD and her thesis by getting that side of the story. And stop fucking passing these PhDs. A lot of these new PhDs are shit. They just bring up their one side of the story. Here's the other part of your PhD right there. She clearly never went and asked the Whawhawhinga Association of Samoa. Okay, she probably didn't even know. She's just met a couple of Whawhawhinga in Australia and New Zealand, and that's her story. Okay, there's this whole other beast in Samoa that she completely forgot and ignored. And her PhD and her thesis is incomplete if you don't fucking have both sides. Okay, stop putting your bullshit as the real shit. Oh, I've got a PhD on it. And you miss them? Oh, man, fuck that. This disconnect is crazy. You got dudes with PhDs in far Samoa, New Zealand, like, who don't have shit in Samoa. Like, whoa, like, come on, man. It's the crazy disconnect that I'm glad she brought it out. She showed you there's this huge disconnect. You got these people flaunting their PhDs. That's completely contrary to what Samoans in Samoa who are actually living that life that she wrote about. She's completely the opposite of what they're saying. It's crazy. And it's great. I think it's great. And like you said, respect and humility and humbleness, she should go and now add that whole other side that she ignored, and add that to the story. That's what PhDs are supposed to be about, fucking learning. About learning. Now go learn why the Whawhawhinga Association went, nah, shut up. Go learn. Go learn how the Whawhawhinga is still... Go learn why. Go learn why the Whawhawhinga see themselves differently from the way woke, white, colonial, transgender, rainbow communities see it. Go see. It's fascinating. The Whawhawhinga see themselves as a complement to women. It's a complementary, not a substitute for women. Go see that. Go learn that. Go learn that side and see that we are completely different to this woke, rainbow shit that they keep on trying to promote and try to bring in under the whawhawhingi. It's completely different. And she will grow and maybe make her fucking PhD better.
I mean,
But she got to take the L. She got a PhD, put an L in front of it. Take this L, learn from it. Fuck.
I mean, that's the thing about the academia is that there are chances for revision, and if they visit Samoa or explore that avenue, awesome. But because it's on display for everyone to see, I guess that is the positive. The line was drawn, in other words. And,
Absolutely.
And authority came through and said, no.
Authority came through. And, they haven't done anything about their authority. Like, they haven't been, they don't have letters from a colonial institution. It's just our logic is their authority. They are whawhawhingi in Samoa who live their life every fucking day. That's the authority. And whatever they say goes. And that should be it. Now, the fact that she's spoken about whawhawhingi who have the malu and all of that, that's sort of like a lesser issue, I feel. I feel it's just the way she said it, because to me, if your whole family love your service and you've done so much and they actually decide for you to get a malu and you're whawhawhingi, who's got a problem with that? Like, I don't think Samoans actually have a problem with that, because you think about it, all of these traditions and elements that we have, they were born out of a completely different time. They were born out of ancestors who all lived together with the tufunga, who served each other every day, who all went and planted together, fished together, built nets together, sung together, all the kids running around together. No money. There was no money. That's where the tattoo came from. That's where our languages came from. That's where our dances came from. This completely different community. And now we're at a time where we live in isolation, where we can actually go out and get a malu or a pea without knowing anyone. I don't know anyone in my village. I don't know what fucking village I'm from. I know I'm Samoan, but I got fucking 10 grand in the bank and I can get it. Okay, and so we are living in this completely different time. We have these ancient elements born out of community, born out of service, because we saw each other every fucking day, and we're trying to sort of apply it to the world we live in today, which is isolation, individuality, all of that shit. I mean, and you brought up tufunga, and everyone's trying to get paid. The more tattoos they give out, the more money they get. Then the more money they get, the more money they can send home and help.
Yeah,
it's different.
Sure.
I have to see tufunga as creative, so they shouldn't stop from doing what they do to, so if someone wants a tattoo, let them do it, because at the end of the day, they're there to create, so if you want to put it into perspective, that for Christian, God is the creator, therefore we are the creator, so why not, from that part of positive perspective for the tufunga. So that's what you're saying. Survival.
Survival.
It's all about survival. Time changing. Now it's how do you bring bread and butter home? Money.
That's it. Money.
Yeah.
And it shows you that our culture works.
Yep.
You see, it worked back then and it works now because you can sell it for $5,000. You can give a better for 10 grand. So our culture is still helping tufunga, making them rich. It's just, it's different times now. And, I think maybe gatekeeping or whatever, like sacredness and all of this, it's different. It's so different now. Even the malu itself, like, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence, or there's a lot of people who have said things about the malu and said, its sacredness lies in the patterns, in the maps. There's some people who have said that it's maps, it's what do you call it? Constellations, it's places where to fish, it's secrets, and that's why you had to have it hidden. okay, because it had navigation stuff, and there's all of that stuff. Like,
So there's obviously added layers.
But no one knows about that now. You know what I mean? So everyone remembers the sacredness about it. They just quite can't remember what it was sacred for, And so,
I guess that allows questions like why not to pop up.
Absolutely, and she does ask some good questions.
Yeah.
She also asks, well, who invented it? There's only the story of Taima Tila Whainga. Obviously, it's quite funny. If you go to Fiji, you know how they changed the song? Okay, so if your area got the changed song, it's actually a mock. It means that you were not the originals. Samoa got the changed song. So, no. It's just funny. So it's funny when you look at it. But there are some good questions. But I think with the Whawhawhingi Association, coming out and saying their piece, it's sort of like set a precedence. But it's not really going to stop anyone because we just live in this age where you can go find a tufunga to get it if you want.
Well, as long as the authority is there. I mean, in a sense, I didn't know they existed, that authority, but it was awesome to see that line being drawn.
Yeah. No, I remember living in Samoa, and they spoke up against Laurel Hubbard as well. They were against transgender in female sport. And yeah.
Well, I guess, maybe next week there'll be another Malu conversation. And the week after, there'll be different aspects that are being challenged, which is awesome.
All right.
Now, I figured we should move on.
Yep.
From there. I mean, speaking of authorities in Samoa, we still have this oil spill.
Yes.
And the authority around that.
The Manawanui.
Like they can, what is it, to quote, or at least to kind of summarize their quote, they can smell it. And
they can see it.
And they're saying it's roughly 2 kilometers away. That's pretty close.
Yeah. No,
that's not far at all. And, it's ruining everything in the village. They're thinking about suing.
No, there's a dude who took Radio NZ and he showed them the oil. Like, he's like, there it is. It's not even that far away. He's like, there. It's like, shit. So, like he goes around the back of the mangroves and there. And so it's really sad. But the Chief of Navy, what's his name? Garvin Golding. I saw him on One News last week. He said, "We will own it, we will fix it, and we will learn from it." And that's quote. He also said it has been leaking ever since it sunk. So he said that. So all of this shit where there's no leak or whatever, that's the Chief of Navy came out, and he was all dressed in his full white uniform. So he's the big dog, and it's cyclone season as well over there. So but what's happening? I read today. Commander Moore, I think it could be, but of the New Zealand Defence Force, he said that there's a tug and barge on its way over, and it's halfway to Apia at the moment. So a tug being like a tugboat, and the barges, isn't that like a big flat platform that gets pulled, or so a tug and a barge is on its way over. It's halfway there at the moment. How fucking long? But so they reckon it's going to get started before the end of the month on recovering the fuel. Yeah. So that's what they're waiting for. It's that. They have divers and drones all around the area at the moment. Yes, and the community there have said that they are now considering legal action.
Yeah. Because
they have spoken quietly. They have been patient, but there has been no reports to them about what's happening. They have lost income. They've lost their livelihoods. They've lost their food. And this is 2 months now. Thursday, just gone. 2 months. Nothing's been done. They haven't been told about anything. And I really hope they go for compensation.
Because this is they talk like international law being violated.
Yes, and they want to invoke international treaties.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're looking into which law. Because they need something now, man. You know what I mean? Our people need something now, especially if you're fishing every day. That was your food. Samoans are very good savers. Local Samoans are very good savers. So 2 months of that eating into your savings. Haven't heard shit. There's definitely damage. They need something now. And Just
the fact that they've been very patient.
yes.
Like,
And that's what they said. Now we must raise our voice because they're not done anything while we've been patient and nice. And it'll be foolish to continue to just be nice and expect something to be done because they haven't done shit.
man, they know how to play it.
Well, fucking New Zealand, man. Give something now. You know what I mean? Give something now. Give some money. Give some food. Give something to those areas that are affected now. Give something for now. But I'm glad they're going for. They want compensation. They're getting legal action because I just think of that fucking. The last one, the bloody citizenship, and no compensation for the illegal raids, no compensation for the dawn raids, illegal search warrants, all of that shit. No compensation. All these people, yay, we got this law passed. It's fucking rubbish. For what? Man. Just get shit on and celebrate getting shit on. Yay.
I mean, they just want to fish again.
They just want
They
to
want to
survive.
fish again so they can survive, and it just sucks because, you know, the same people that, well, they're bringing in all this equipment to come clean it up. Who's really going to pay for it?
The locals, the environment, the fish,
Yeah.
the ecosystem. Who knows how long that's going to linger? How it's going to go into the other fish down the line and around the area.
Got mutations and
Oh, yeah. And then we eat the fish. It's just shit, man.
And now you got a cyclone coming up.
Yeah. It's cyclone
So-
season at the moment.
Yeah, so what's that mean?
Bro. And they don't give a fuck, man. New Zealand don't care. And that's why the onus, leaders got to be strong, man. That's why it wasn't good to hear the acting prime minister at the time say, oh, there's nothing, there's no leak. And of course, he used to be in the New Zealand Defence Force. And then you got the chief of Navy, the big dog, saying, yes, there's been a leak right from the start, but I promise you, we will fix it, we will own it, and we will learn from it. So what the fuck would the deputy prime minister say that for? If the chief of Navy comes out and says there's been a leak from the start, what were you saying? It's like, ugh.
there's local. Well,
You got
there's,
paid.
there's local news, international news, and then there's
Games on games, and who loses out of all this? It's the local villagers, man. And then what? You'd probably be safer to just leave?
well, and then what? Use that land for something else and reappropriate it for other reasons.
Oh, look, it's going to be a port for New Zealand.
Or us. What, China going to build a new port?
Yeah. Well, that's the
I mean,
latest development anyway.
Those conversations of what ifs can go on for hours, but
Yeah, hard out.
it's still going. But again, like the way that Samoa are playing it, or at least the villagers, like I've got to commend them for being this patient, because it's not easy to have your life just stripped away from you overnight,
Right.
and then not start burning shit, like just acting irrational. But they've been very calculated in regards to how they're going to approach this, and I hope, they get it. I hope they get everything they need.
Now.
Yeah, we'll keep an update on the way that this progresses. I mean, and again, if you're a listener in Samoa, feel free to send through any feedback whatsoever, because the media that we're getting in New Zealand is obviously skewed to make it look like it's not as big as it really is.
They're just waiting for the tug and barge. That's all New Zealand are doing. They're waiting for that. In the meantime, they should be sending help to the families there in terms of goods, foods, cans of elingi, cans of corned beef, shit like that, man. Oh, cans of elingi then.
I mean, regardless,
It's
there's
just
gonna be-
simple, man. Just like, here you go, my bad. When you fuck up, you apologize, you bring some gifts. You've taken their livelihood. You've taken their food. How about give them some cash and give them some food? Duh, it's New Zealand. But you're treated how you want to be treated. And this is why the leaders need to fucking do something, man.
Now, in regards to that, let's bring it locally, and we'll keep the oil spill update over the next couple of weeks. You mentioned what was his name? TJ Perenara, his treaty statement during the Haka.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Haka on our podcast has been quite an interesting topic. I mean, we've spoken about it many times before. But yeah, what are your initial thoughts on that, Haka? Basically, what it means.
He just added the treaty Toitu Te Tiriti at the start of the All Black Haka. And a lot of the white New Zealanders, I see Sean Plunkett was up in arms and he called Laurie Maines, and Laurie Maines didn't like it as well, former All Black coach. Yeah, so, they're like, he's using it as a vehicle. He's using the All Black name, to promote the treaty and the struggles and stuff. Good on him, bro. So they've tried to say it's him like, the lone wolf. It wasn't the All Blacks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how they've tried to, the All Blacks have tried to deal with it. It was him. It's his last test. He wanted to say his piece, and yeah.
I thought the lone wolf stuff was reserved for...
but that's their way of saving the All Blacks name.
But that's the way
in the white light.
But that tends to be a tactic, for saving...
whites.
For saving white people. Like, as in, oh no, he acted alone. Oh no, he murdered.
That's what they've done. They've said that he acted alone, and this isn't it wasn't supported by the All Blacks. Because remember Scott Barrett? They asked Scott Barrett, and he was like, "Well, yeah, but did you know that he was going to do it? TJ was going to lead, and yeah, but did you know that he was going to do it? So he was trying to avoid it. So you can get away with it if it's just TJ. He just did his own thing, but when you look at the photo that they took after the game and you see them all with the Māori flag, it's like 20 out of the squad are there. You can see that they all supported it. So.
Like the earliest, our earlier podcast about the Haka, the woman, protesting against their government. In the
Same
Haka.
thing.
Just same thing, different levels, right?
Same thing. Like, they love the All Black Haka. As soon as you put in the word treaty, no, not that one. Take that word out. It's like, oh my gosh. So again, Māori always having to reconcile themselves for the, because the fucking colonial snowflakes can't take the shit, can't take the real shit. And we spoke about this before. Kapa Haka competitions, because a lot of us don't speak Māori, we don't actually know what they're talking about, but luckily, like when you see these subtitles, like a lot of the Haka is against colonization, against Palangi, British Empire, all of that. So this isn't anything new, man. This is a normal Haka. Your Haka is meant to be strong, but Palangi appetites, colonial appetites. Oh no, not that one. No. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, censorship seems to rear its head in so many different,
it's so
repeated ways, and it's like ridiculous how it's been justified, right?
Yeah.
But he was a lone wolf.
Yeah. It wasn't the All Blacks. It was him by himself. But then you see them all with the flags, like this, or like, come on, bro.
No, he acted alone though.
Yeah.
Who else held the flag?
It's the treaty. It's a New Zealand issue. It's in the Haka. What's the big deal? Ugh.
I mean, speaking on censorship though, it must have been a couple of weeks back, but that social media ban over in Oz for those that are 16 and under.
Control.
Yeah, like like all of that impact. Obviously New Zealand may follow, or well, yes and no. That's debatable, but like you said, control, right?
Control of information, control. Kids, they always target the kids. Disney, McDonald's with their Happy Meals. Movies, you target kids. Kids are easy to influence, and that's the key. That's the key for their future agendas, and that is controlling the mind of the kids, making sure that they control all the information that's going into the kids' brains.
It's just,
And social media is bringing up heaps of alternative narratives. Heaps. Not just alternative to what the news is saying, but alternative to the history that we were taught. Bullshit about history. social media is bringing it all there. And whether it's a conspiracy or whatever, the mainstream chokehold that the media had on people, the mainstream chokehold that curriculums had on people, it's completely gone. You know, everyone's learning different shit from social media, and people are questioning everything. Remember, Jacinda called herself, I will be the single source of truth. And this is what this is about.
Singularity.
Right, right, and which is the assimilation.
Well,
colonizers came to assimilate, to hive mind. We want everybody to think like us. That's the easiest way to control everybody. We must ban their culture, ban their language, ban everything. We want one mind. And so this is an extension. This is how it's developing, is controlling the information, because they've lost control of the media and the curriculums because of social media. And so this is their way to start to try to get back that power.
well, like totalitarian states and
Absolutely.
all of that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like
but they're going to say, oh, it's democratic and all. Oh, and the problem is that they have the power to create the problem. Okay, so, it's because there's a lot of porn that's leaking into Facebook. They will be the ones who put the porn on Facebook. Oh, there's a lot of porn in TikTok. They will be the ones who will use logarithms and AI or whatever to flood Facebook or TikTok with porn. And there you go. We must ban it.
I wonder, you know, because there's so many other reasons why they want to see this banning come through. Because, before we were recording, you know, I mentioned the idea of parenting and things like that. Like, you know, you're basically taking away, you know, one's autonomy to access of information, really.
What with social media? It's not just that. Social media is a business. It's a money making thing for, bro.
Well, because it's both good,
everyone.
because it's good and bad, right?
Like everything, hamburgers are good and bad.
So the choice
should always be for people. And censorship, and we Pacific people gotta watch out, because they've lied about our fucking history for a long time. No one knew about navigation until like the last 10 years. That shit wasn't even in our curriculum. They've lied so much. They fucking dawn raids, for example, like the way they tell it, that was a government thing. The government banning Māori, stealing, confiscating land, that's government. And the lessons we should be learning is don't trust the fucking government. And so we have this median, social media, internet. We have this median to source other truths, you know, to find other narratives, and they're going to cut it off because they want full control of the mind. But for us Pacific people, we need the alternative narratives, because we cannot trust the organization, the mainstream media who kept on calling us dumb bums and all of this shit. We cannot trust the government who deported, banned everything. We're going to trust these people?
Yeah, I totally understand that, because it has been useful for us to share our perspectives. But also those that are being impacted by social media negatively, like, those that have been bullied, for example. Like the link, I mean, I don't know whether there's studies done, between the link of social media and depression, etc. The line of logic that I'm going down. But for those, especially children, that are, basically having millions of eyes on whatever post that they're putting up.
Yep.
And the slightest negative comment, I mean, you could probably brush it off. A lot of us older people could probably brush it off, but to them,
well,
and the behavior associated around that, bullying, depression, unaliving, as they say now, which is, maybe a way that this was shoehorned in, to help tackle those things.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but
like it just seems, I know that control is obviously the bigger picture, but like, there's got to be some sort of benefit to this.
Well, yeah, but remember, suicides also happen before social media. There's a lot of suicides as well. Like that's issues and information that adults need to help with their kids. There's heaps that those are.
So when it comes to like parenting and things like that, like as in, trying to enforce, limits or trying to enforce rules on your
Bro, parents
on
are the
access.
worst too, bro. Like, I am sick to fuck being at lights and you have to beep the horn because the person in the front is on their fucking phone, bro. Every single traffic light. Like, why not help parents and help people to learn more about social media and learn more about device usage and all of that shit?
what does that look like?
I don't know.
Because
I just don't like censorship.
Slightly veering off. You can't use your phone while you're driving, for example.
Right.
Those small rules that they've implemented, like that makes sense.
Yeah, but it hasn't stopped anyone. Like,
And so the next step is banning it.
there was
Because,
that Māori
Well,
dude.
that's the
There was
thing.
a
What-
Māori dude who
so-
died because the truck driver was using her phone and rear-ended him, killed him. Like,
okay.
adults need to fucking learn how to use their phones properly as well.
So this
I just wouldn't trust the government with shit, man. Less government control, the better. Help families. Help people who need. If you see that there's a problem with blah, 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 give them more help about it. But don't take everything away and control it.
couldn't you say the same thing about smoking and things like that?
Right, and they haven't taken it away, right?
Well, they've reserved an age limit on it. Like if it's that detrimental, like this is
But
take
they
out
have an age limit on the
I mean,
sugars. They have an age limit on the Coke. They have an age limit on the burgers. And obesity's
Yeah, because-
fucking us up.
because
How
the
come
money,
they haven't put on any age
because the
limits
money
on that shit?
because the money on that shit is so amazing under sugar that they won't. And the lobbyists involved, we can go down that path, but
Because the government invests $300 million into Burger King, Coca-Cola here in New Zealand.
yeah,
The
which
New
is why,
Zealand government
yeah, which is-
invests $300 million.
yeah, which is why I say the money is just too
They
lucrative.
want a return. So maybe if they had shares in TikTok and all of that stuff, that shit would be open.
Would it?
Yes. They're
Or-
just not getting any of the money.
Or does this by limiting it, does it pump up the price?
No. I don't even know how it's working in Australia. I don't know how it's working. I just know that social media has increased massive information for us specific people.
I'm just trying to look at it from an everyday perspective, like as in that, like I understand, like that 15-year-old that's using it can now not really use it, or is not supposed to use it. But
I don't know
I guess
how it
I
works.
guess I look at media that's been restricted, for example, like video games that are only meant for 18 plus. You got 11-year-olds playing it, or like what is it, like Black Ops and Call of Duty and all of that are meant for like a certain age group. Younger kids are using it, so yeah, I guess whether that stops them from using it is one thing, and how they enforce it. But yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any benefit in this ban, or like in terms of doing that, like restricting it. Because if parents are having issues, right, like
I'm sure there's many benefits. If parents can't stop it, at least a ban. Maybe kids go outside more.
if parents
Kids-
can't stop themselves, right, from
Right.
using their phone, then should the government intervene in your personal life to restrict these things? Say if it's and they can use whatever stats to justify it, like this is detrimental for X health, or we're seeing an increase in depression amongst the children from blah 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 to blah blah blah. So they can justify these positions.
It's quite funny. I'll tell you something.
Should they be able to?
I haven't
step
got
in?
my kids any phones. My teenagers, no phones. I won't let them use a phone. I am responsible for their usage. I take complete ownership on their use of the devices and that. I don't need the government to tell me what the fuck to do with my kids. I have already done that myself. Okay, so I just don't like them, running the show and controlling everything. So I've accepted that that's my responsibility as a parent, and I have not got my kids any phones, and I will not be getting my kids any phones. They can buy their first phone.
I guess.
So
For
I'm just I don't like government. I don't like the concept of centralized power. I don't like them thinking they know everything. I don't like them trying to fluoridate all the tap water. That was on the news yesterday. Like, fucking just fuck off for a bit. If a council, Northern Council, don't want to fluoridate their water, that's fine to me. Shit. Like, I just, the way they got everybody vaccinated and mandated full government control, I hate that shit. I hate it. And so long as they feel they have the power to do this, they'll feel they have the power to do this too. And then this. And then this. I think we just got to own more our responsibility to our children. You know, and that's how I've done it. And so what I've done is pretty much what they've done.
Well, yeah. Basically, like and that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to drill it down to. Them because I know their control leads to more control, leads to this in this area, in immigration, in education, in this. I mean, yeah, like, which is awesome. Like you're taking upon yourself to be really involved in restricting that in many ways. For those that aren't able to, for example, you know, those parents that trade a lot of time to make money, that aren't around, say, for their children as much, like, as in, you know, behind closed doors, you know, what are they doing, like trying to enforce that, and you know how readily available this technology is. I mean, I'd say it'd be a bit tough for those in that position to
it's tough
try
for
and
every
regulate.
parent. It's tough for every parent. Even if, like in my case, even if I stop devices, you know, schools are putting them on devices nearly the whole fucking day. You know, like, it's tough for all parents. Work it out. Work out what works for you and your children. Like, take the reins. Don't let the government fucking control your lives and and censor you and all of that shit.
No, you reckon that to impose that rule, not democracy, it just move away from the core purpose of what democracy is all about.
Right.
Yeah. So
freedom to choose.
Yeah.
So we're
freedom
moving
to choose.
a police totalitarian state, you reckon?
Yeah.
Like, this is a move towards that.
Right. And in New Zealand, like, fucking Candace Owens can't even come here. Like, what the fuck? A very intelligent black woman who provides a completely different way of thinking, right? And they said, oh, it's because of her anti-Semitic speech. Are you talking about the Jews, like, in Israel, the ones bombing Palestinians? Are you talking about that shit? Because not many people like what they're seeing in Palestine. You know, it's fucking bullshit. So ban her, ban anyone like her. And this is the shit that this leads to. Remember, Australia have the banned social media for 16-year-olds. They're the ones who banned Candace Owens. And because of that banning, New Zealand banned Candace Owens because she had been banned from Australia. See how it's not an issue about social media because they banned Candace Owens for coming. They are right now going to do things that align with getting rid of any voice that we cannot control. That's what this banning is about. It's got nothing to do with the safety of children and rah, because right next to it, they banned Candace Owens from coming because she offers an alternative way of thinking. It is linked. And that's why all of the stuff about kids' safety and all of that, that's not what this is about at all. They are trying to hijack and control the narrative. Anyone who thinks differently, we do not want them. Social media, man, there's so many different thinkers there. Ban it. Ban that avenue. That's what this is really about because we just saw what happened to Candace Owens. It's all about controlling the mind. The mind is everything. The assimilation, create the hive mind. This is what colonization started. Now we're into the next steps. Using AI to really consolidate power of the mind. Consolidate the hive. We're in that big battle now. That Terminator shit's going to happen. It's inevitable. But that's what this is truly about.
I mean, speaking of people trying to come into this country, right? We had maybe on a bit of a more positive note. We had Speed coming to New Zealand.
Speed,
sweet. And speaking of censorship and things like that, immigration came to the table.
Yes, they
and
did.
then try to enforce their authority.
Yes,
saying that
he came over on a visitor's visa.
Yeah, and
but
then
because what he was doing is his YouTube show, so he was working. So he was working on a visitor's visa.
So him being a visitor, it's
fucking bullshit. But
a guy, he's saying like he could be any tourist.
That's the thing, and that's what they didn't want to start up. So they said, "Look, we'll just have a talk with him." Because every fucking tourist who comes into New Zealand
does it.
Will film something, put it on their social media to up their followers or to make some money through their following. Every single tourist.
Because you could say his job is to be on holiday.
Everyone's job, like every tourist coming in is going to upload to social media. That's why it was really stupid. It was so stupid. But they fucking come in again because he's got 33 million followers. They come into we are the controllers of the mind here. It was so shit. The other thing that was shit when Speed's trip was awesome. I loved it. I watched a lot of it with the kids. I loved the energy. I love somebody who loves this place. Like he genuinely loved it. I see he had millions of views of his Haka, but then he took it down because there was a lot of people angry. He lost it. Like he doesn't know the Haka properly. But he kept going with energy and that, and he finished it. But then he took it down after 20 million views or something because a lot of people complained that the way he did the Haka. Yeah, well,
who complained then?
I saw Jimmy Jackson going, that's why they won't want to come back because you guys fucking suck about shit. Yeah, and so, but like, he did it with Māori in Rotorua.
Yeah,
like it was all Māori kids. Like he did it with them.
Yeah, and that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Like from the looks of it, just out there in the community.
He was out there. He loved it. He there's only one thing I had a problem with, and that was Jimmy Jackson saying, so he's talking to his chat. Speed's talking to his chat. Yo, where do I go? Where do I go? And then they're like, South Auckland. And then Jimmy's like, oh, no, don't go there. That's the hood. And he says, that's the worst place in Auckland. Even the cops don't go there. Like, bro, are you fucking... Now, first of all, Jimmy I thought was great. I thought he was great, man. He helped Speed a lot, gave him words, pineapple lumps, all of that shit, had really good energy, matched the energy of Speed. But just in that instance, and the reason why I bring it up, because we hear it a lot. We've heard this in mainstream media, hey, South Auckland is the worst. He's just parroting all the shit that he heard. But South Auckland isn't the worst, okay? If you go through the crime rates, South Auckland's not even up there. It's Hamilton City, it's Gisborne, Palmerston North have a higher crime rate. Go look at the stats, okay? So for people to say, oh, it's the worst, like, bro, it's not the worst. And those are just like physical crimes, The people who stole David Tua's 30 million are not in the crime stats. The people who stole Jonah Lumu's millions are not in the crime stats. Okay, so there's all of this white collar crime that fucking millions, billions. Okay, so first of all, South Auckland isn't the worst in crime, guys. It's Hamilton is number one. That's where Jimmy's from. Okay, so Hamilton's number one, Gisborne's there, and Palmerston North, and there's a couple. Christchurch City is in the top 3. Okay, crime rate in New Zealand. Okay, it's not South Auckland. Stop fucking saying South Auckland. It's not. Second of all, South Auckland is targeted. Okay, remember, Popeye's first fucking Popeye's store that opens in New Zealand, where do they put it? Smack bang, Manurewa. Now remember, Popeye's is an American thing. They don't know where to go. They would have relied on somebody here. They would have relied on the government. Where can we set up to make the most money? And they would have went, Manurewa. Okay?
You know where the second one are?
Where?
Papatoi.
Bullshit.
Yep.
Fuck. But just that, when a company sets up in New Zealand, they rely on New Zealand to tell them, where are we going to make the most money? And it's New Zealand telling Popeyes, go to South Auckland.
I mean, that's just good business, isn't it?
So South Auckland is being targeted with the shit. Targeted with obese foods, targeted with alcohol, deliberately targeted. And this is why I hated what he said. You know, it's not the worst at crime. It is the most targeted place. Targeted with negative foods, negative alcohol, negative media.
And I guess the impact of that, especially with someone like Speed and that following,
right?
It's 400 million eyes viewing that. Maybe for the this is the thing. Like you know, his first impression of New Zealand, and this is what he's been fed,
and this is what he's been told.
Interesting, right? Like the impact of that. Like yeah, we might gloss over it, but again, like those hangover stereotypes or whatever it is.
And that's it. Like you can tell that Jimmy, he's just watched white news the whole time. That's where he got his shit from. Oh, cops don't even go there. My neighbors are cops, both of them, husband and wife. They're cops. They live in South Auckland. Because you don't say that. You know why? Because that's the biggest population of Pacific people in New Zealand. Don't say that shit. Māori culture's from the Pacific. That's our culture. That's what we put on the boat. That's what you guys brought here. So don't say that shit. Watch how you fucking talk about South Auckland. Watch what comes out your fucking mouth. Because it's, first of all, it's not just disrespectful. It's bullshit. It's not true. Okay? Top 3 cities of crime in New Zealand. Rotorua City. Hamilton. Oh, Rotorua's up there. Gisborne and Christchurch City. It's not South Auckland. It's bullshit. GDP, though, Auckland is the highest GDP in New Zealand. South Auckland is a part of that. It's just shit. That's why Popeyes, that's why they set up in South Auckland. There's money there. That's why the government invests 300 million in fatty foods. Majority of these places are in South Auckland. There's money there. It's just targeted. It's just fucking ignorant shit. That was ignorant by Jimmy, but he did a great job. Just that. I'm not saying hate on him and shit, because the reason why I wanted to talk about that, because we hear it from other people anyway, right? We hear it from mainstream. John Banks said shit like that before as well. Like, it's just that. And it's not true. It's bullshit. The most talented people are from South Auckland. Fucking beautiful, talented Pacific people. Brilliant, resilient, still achieving after all your shit. Fuck.
Well, Speed, come back to New Zealand.
Nah, you fuck off now. No, but that was cool.
Well, in other news, a bit more positivity, I guess, you know, which is awesome. But in that same realm of like influences, we had a Tongan Aussie, Javier 676. He won the TikTok Creator of the Year, which is awesome. You know, again, you know, Polynesian talent.
He's based in Australia, isn't he?
Yep.
And his content is built on his girls, right?
Yep. Oh, well, him, family life, family dynamics, but positivity. Good on him, man. Like, congrats.
Yeah, good on him for making his money and all of that stuff. I don't watch him.
But you're like, and that's the thing. Like, we're seeing a lot of Polynesian TikTok creators or Polynesian Well, do I want to say content creation or do I just want to say Polynesian artists?
All content creators. Like, yeah, that's good on him and good on all you other Pacific content creators, because man, I watch a lot of other things and I'm so thankful. I've learned. I don't really learn anything from these from the main ones who do the little goofy who do the goofy stuff.
Well, I mean, the good thing is there is a spectrum of
the good thing is there's some really good Pacific stuff. You know, some really intelligent, awesome ones like Steven Setu and it's just a curveball. But I like that shit. I like it all. I like stuff where I get challenged. Even Hannah and her Fafafinge. But why not?
And that's cool. Like, there's a spectrum of that readily available.
Yeah.
And, you know, to your original point saying, you know, it's important to have access to these things, this alternative access, because to those that can't access it anymore. I mean, you know, just like how a lot of the like flipping it would be, those in China not having access to Facebook, not having access to, without having to tunnel the connection through VPNs and shit like that. But in general, like a lot of Western social media is banned in China. Like, and with obviously, there can be the benefits and negatives that can be studied from that. So we'll see what happens with Australia in that sense. But yeah, again, with all the content creators, awesome. Just
all of the content too.
Yeah, just keep doing your thing. Because everyone, well, there's an audience for everything.
Audience for everything.
But not limited to that. On the mainstream side, there is Moana too. I mean, personally, we haven't seen it ourselves yet, but in saying that though, everyone seems to enjoy it. There's
stop writing fucking essays on Facebook. So many. Oh, just watch Moana. Here's my 2 cents. Oh gosh. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah.
Oh, just these massive writings about what it means and all of that stuff. Nah, good on you guys. Awesome. I haven't read any of them, but good on them.
I mean, I'll probably be watching it for its cinematography, and I do want to see its animation and all of that. Like, I mean, story-wise, whatever. I'm not really paying attention to that, but that's just me. But those that have enjoyed it, fantastic. So, I'd say it's worth celebrating.
Yeah, I only seen one clip. I only seen a clip of the crab sale. The the crab sale, the sale that looks like that comes from Pulotu, that comes from the west, that comes from the Solomon Islands, around that area. Yeah. Papua New Guinea and the Melanesian people making comments that the Melanesians showed up, and that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think I wouldn't have thought that would show up.
It's about time. Gosh, they're the majority of the Pacific, guys.
I don't know. Yeah, true.
The La Pizza pottery found in Samoa, that clay is from Melanesia, man.
But otherwise, if you guys are going to see that, fantastic. Leave your 2 cents on Facebook, and Eliota will be there reading it all, being having what is it? Being having a reaction to a reaction.
Yes.
And all those
opinion
people,
on an opinion.
Yeah. Like, it's the way that they delivered it. Blah blah blah.
Hell no.
I mean, but yeah. Otherwise, let's wrap it up there for episode 51. Nice. We'll see you next week.